Number 4, Colin King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment, and asks how many new apprentices have signed up under the government's Apprenticeship Reboot scheme.
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, the government announced in January this year that it would provide the first 10,000 new apprentices a $1,000 payment to them and their employer towards the cost of tools and training, or $2,000 each for the priority trades. I'm pleased to advise the House that the Reboot scheme has already signed up 8,000 new apprentices in only 7 months. This compares to the normal sign-up rate of 7,000 for a full year. The Reboot has resulted in a 67% increase of people starting apprenticeships compared to the same period last year, and 2/3 of all of those signed up have been in the designated priority trades such as construction, engineering, infrastructure and electrotechnology. And to be helpful to that member over there, to have an apprenticeship you actually do have to have a job.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Colin King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. What other steps is the government taking to improve industry training systems?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, we inherited a mess in industry training from the previous government. Even though funding trebled, there were up to 100,000 phantom trainees in industry training who had achieved no credits. We've sorted out a lot of that mess and introduced a suite of measures to improve the opportunities for in-work training for all Kiwis. For example, we've established the New Zealand Apprenticeships, which provide the same level of support and the same level of subsidy for all apprentices, regardless of their age. We've also boosted the educational content of apprenticeships and increased the funding. With the Reboot and these other changes, we've estimated that around 14,000 extra new apprentices will start training over the next 5 years, over and above the normal numbers. We are now running ahead of that target.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Colin King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. What steps is the government taking to expand trades training in Canterbury?
Mr
Honourable
Speaker,
Stephen Joyce.
as well as the Apprenticeship Reboot, the government has now invested some $65 million in specific Skills for Canterbury training initiatives over the last couple of years. In addition, I have recently announced a further capital injection of $18.9 million to the Christchurch Polytechnic and Institute of Technology to enable it to further expand its trades training capacity as part of its campus rebuild following the earthquakes. That capital injection means CPIT will be able to further expand its Sullivan Avenue facilities, taking on an additional 400 equivalent full-time students, or up to 1,000 additional places a year through until 2018. That's on top of the 1,000 they'd already added. This further increase in trades training is very important to the Canterbury rebuild and the wider Canterbury economy. The government is delighted to support it.
Very good. Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave of the House to table statistics from the Tertiary Education Commission that show in the first 3 years of National's period in government the number of apprentices dropped by 20%.
Order. I just want to clarify if it's a TEC report. Isn't that public?
Those statistics are very hard to get.
On the basis that they're hard to get, I'll allow the leave to be put. Leave is sought to table that particular document. Is there any objection? There was. Order. There was objection. It will not be tabled. Question number 5, Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.